Hi guys, greetings of the day. Myself, Professor Vijetha Vardhan, and in this today's session, I'm going to show you how to solve a problem on projection of solids in your grid box. That is a manual construction for a problem called as projection of solids. That is pentagonal pyramid. Okay, now this is what the pentagonal pyramid. Since the base shape is having a pentagon, so that's why we call it as a pentagonal pyramid. Always remember the pentagonal pyramid front view is going to be a triangle, whereas in case of prisms, it is going to be a rectangle. Now let us consider one simple problem and let me show you how to solve this same. Now let us consider an example problem which is like this. The example problem is like this. Pentagonal pyramid, 25 millimeter sides of base and 60 millimeter axis length, rests on HP on one of its edges of the base, which is inclined to VP at 30 degree. Draw the projections of the pyramid when the axis is inclined to HP at 40 degree. So now let us see that this is a pentagon. The base edge size is 25 millimeter. Okay, and then the height of the solid from the apex to the center, that is axis height, is given as 60 millimeter, is resting on one of its edges. Now if I'm going to consider this is an horizontal plane, now it should be kept like this. Now you can see when I'm going to rotate in the clockwise direction, one can observe that it is going to rest on one of its edges. Now you can see here we have an edge, it is going to rest on a edge, okay, and then it is inclined to VP with respect to the resting edge to VP at an angle of 30 degree. How exactly it is going to look like, let me show you with respect to HP and VP. So this is the initial position. The front view is going to be the equilateral triangle and the top view is going to be the pentagon, and then it is going to be inclined at an angle of 40 degree to the HP. Now you can see it is, I'm just going to rotate it. Now you can see it is resting on one of its base edges of the pentagonal pyramid, and then we are going to draw the top and front views in this position. Then the resting edge makes an angle with respect to VP at an angle of 30 degree. Now let me show you how to do the same problem in your booklets. Okay guys, this is what the grid book you are going to look like. Okay, this is what the grid sheets have constructed in my system. Okay, now using your 2H pencils, what you can do is keeping some convenient distances, and like for example over here, I'm going to draw a constructional line which is perpendicular to XY line. And after which, I'm going to take a HB pencils, and using an HB pencils, now say for example, approximately from this position, that is after measuring 2 boxes, I'm going to measure 2.5 boxes as a dark line, which is going to represent one of the edges of the pentagon. Since we have to construct the side resting pentagon, so I'm going to start with like this. Okay. Now, after which to construct the pentagonal edges, now what is the procedure I'm going to show you? You have to follow it. Now, what you are supposed to do is keep your protractor at this corner and then measure 72 degree as the exterior angle. Measure 72 degree as the exterior angle and draw a constructional line like this. And then keep a protractor at this position again. And again, measure 72 degree in the exterior angle. That is nothing but here you are supposed to measure 72 degree on both the sides from both the respective corners. And once you have drawn the 72 degree, please do confirm that whether you have written 72 degree, because there may be a chances of you guys are going to create it for a 68 degree. So please make sure that exterior angle is supposed to be 72, not the 68. But there is a general tendency that some of the students may create or end up with 72 or 68 degree instead of 72 degree. So please be careful over here. And after drawing these two lines, what is the procedure you are supposed to follow is take your compass. Now, since we know that the radius of the the sides of the pentagon is 25 millimeters, so you are supposed to set the radius value equal to the side length. Now, this is a side length. You can see that it should be set, and then keeping the compass at this corner, you are supposed to draw an arc over here like this. Okay, and repeat the same procedure at the bottom side of the line over here, and without changing the radius, draw one more arc over here so that you are going to get another 2 points of the pentagon. Now to get the another point of a pentagon, keep the compass center at this end point, and without changing the radius, I repeat, without changing the radius, draw a constructional arc like this. And on the other point of the arc, what you have obtained, keep the compass center over there and draw one more arc like this. Now you can see we have got the all the 5 points of the pentagon. Now using your HB pencils, you are supposed to connect all the respective points properly. Now this completes the construction of the pentagon as per the requirement. Since we are dealing the pentagon with respect to the pentagonal pyramid, hence we are supposed to draw the top view as the slant edges. Now to get the slant edges, what one has to do is we have to draw a projector like this. This is not a projector. This is actually called as perpendicular bisector. Now I'm going to draw one perpendicular bisector. Now another perpendicular bisector, we have to identify the midpoint of a line and we have to connect it. Now, if anyone don't know how to get the midpoint of a line, let me show you one of the simple procedure. What is the procedure is, take your compass and in the compass, set the radius value greater than half and then draw a constructional arc over here using 2H pencils and keeping the compass at the other side without changing the radius, which should be greater than sorry, which should be greater than half of the radius, and then you are supposed to draw an arc like this. Let me repeat it because there is a shortage of a arc length. Okay, now in the same fashion, draw the arcs on the other sides also. Okay, now I'm going to draw an arc here, and again I'm going to draw an arc here. Now you can see we are going to get the 2 points. You can connect these 2 points properly, by which you are going to get the midpoint of this line. Now from this point you can connect it to the corner over here. Now this line we call it as perpendicular bisector. Now this is called as the bisection of a line, which you can do it and you already learned it in your school days. The same technique we have followed here. Now you can see that I have completed the position of axis. Now once the axis position is been identified, now using your HB pencils, what you are supposed to do is from each and every corner you are supposed to show a dark lines like this. Now using your scale and pencils, make sure that you are going to represent the pentagonal pyramid top view like this. This completes the pentagonal pyramid. Now let me complete the annotation part and then I'm going to show you the remaining things over there. Now you guys can see that I have completed the annotation part and also I have drawn the projectors of the respective base corners of A, B, C, D, E as well as the axis position O1 at the base. Now afterwards, to complete the front view, then what you are supposed to do is take your scale and pencil, make sure that you are going to select the position of the axis. From the axis position, you are supposed to draw 6 boxes. 6 boxes is nothing but 60 millimeter. Why? Because in the question, the height of the solid is given as 60 millimeter. For 60 millimeter, you are supposed to draw an axis like this. Once you get an axis, and you can, using the pencil, you can name it as the O dash, which is nothing but the apex position. And afterwards, let us complete the boundary. What is the boundary? A dash to O dash is going to be the boundary. That is nothing but the slant edge. And C dash D dash is going to be the slant triangular face and then the bottom base. And then the visible base OB is going to be seen. However, OE is going to be behind the OB, so it is not going to be observed. So now OB is going to be joined. Now I can say that the front view is completed in all aspects as per the requirements. And afterwards, you are supposed to show that the height of the solid is 60 millimeter. Now we are supposed to go for the second stage. Now for the second stage, the axis is inclined to HP at a 40 degree. We are going to rotate this solid in the clockwise direction. As guys, now you can observe when I'm going to decide this, I'm going to rotate this in the clockwise direction, then only it is going to be resting on the base edge CD. So now the front view is going to be rotated in such a way that CD as a reference, we have to rotate this axis at an angle of 40 degree to HP. Now, rotating the axis at an angle of 40 degree to HP is quite difficult. Henceforth, we are going to rotate the base at an angle of 90 minus theta. Now, you can see the base inclination is given as 90 minus theta is nothing but the HP inclination of the axis. Now, axis and base are perpendicular to each other. Now, if I'm going to rotate this base at an angle of 90 minus the axis inclination theta, that is the base, if I'm going to rotate about 50 degree, then obviously the axis will be rotated to 40 degree to the horizontal plane. Now let me show you how to do the same. Now, using your 2H pencils, make sure that you are going to keep a protractor at C dash and D dash, and then you are going to measure, the angle 50 degree in the clockwise direction, because the base inclination we have obtained as 50 degree. Now, with respect to this 50 degree, you are supposed to draw a line here. Now, this inclination is nothing but 50 degree, but you are not supposed to show this 50 degree in your booklets because the base is not inclined to HP at 50 degree. It is given as axis is inclined to HP at 50 degree. Keeping that in the mind, you are not supposed to show the dimension. And then to get the front view as it is, using the arc technique, what one has to do is use the compass, measure C dash to A dash. Using the compass, measure the distance between C dash to A dash with C dash as the center. Now you obtain A dash on the 50 degree line over here. Now this corner is going to be marked as A dash. Now in the same fashion, to obtain the O dash, what we are supposed to do, using the arc technique, the same procedure, measure C dash to O dash. Measure C dash to O dash with C dash as the center without changing the radius. What we have to do is we have to draw a constructional arc like this. And afterwards, you can observe that A dash to O dash is not the same. So we are supposed to measure the distance of A dash to O dash using the compass. Then using this radius, then with A dash as a center, again, without changing the radius, we are supposed to draw a constructional arc over here. Now you can see there is a shortage of constructional arc. Now let me extend this arc over here using the compass. Now you can see this is how the extension has to be made, and this point is going to be treated as O dash. Now let me complete the front view using the same technique of arc. Let me get the position of B dash, E dash, and O1 dash. Let me complete it and show it to you guys. Now you guys can see that using the same arc technique, I have completed all the points, marking of all the points, and completed the front view at an angle of 40 degree. Now, what is inclined at 40 degree? Axis is inclined at 40 degree. Now, you are supposed to draw a line which is parallel to the axis line, and it should be extended towards the XY line, which is as shown like this. And then, using your pencil, show that this line is inclined at an angle of 40 degree. Now, this is how you are supposed to represent it in your booklets. And afterwards, we need to draw the top view, for which we need to draw the projectors. Now, let me show one of the projectors and tell me how to do it. Now, using the apex position, I am going to draw a vertical projector, and the apex position horizontally I am going to project it. Then this is going to be marked as O, and in the same fashion, we are supposed to draw all the remaining projectors. Now, let me complete it and show it to you guys. Okay guys, now you can see that I have completed drawing all the projectors, and then I have marked the respective points. Now we are supposed to apply the rules of visibility. Now the first rule says that the boundary lines are always visible. Now let us understand what is a boundary lines. Now using a HB pencils, you are supposed to complete the boundary which is going to form the outermost edges of the solid, that is A to B, B to C, or O, we have to decide it. So it is going to be O, and then it is going to be E, and then it is going to be A. This is what is going to be the boundary. And afterwards, the second point says that identify the base is visible or invisible. Now, when the observer is watching this object from the top, obviously apex is nearer to the observer, the base is away from the observer, hence the base becomes invisible. If it is invisible, make it as invisible. Now, using your HB pencils, make sure that the edges which are not on the boundary should be shown as invisible edges like this. Now you can see the three edges which are not forming the boundary, that is BC, CD and DE is going to be marked as invisible edges. Then some of the students may ask why we are not going to make A and E, because A and E is the boundary lines. It should be always visible. Okay. And then we are supposed to complete the slant edges. Now, such of the slant edges either partially or completely passing through the visible base are invisible and vice versa. So according to this point, what I can do is, now we have identified the base is already invisible. Now the slant edges which are either partially or completely passing inside this visible base, sorry, invisible bases, visible. That is the slant edge OA is going to be the visible. But however, the slant edge OD and OC is passing outside the visible base, outside the invisible base, and it must be shown as invisible edges. And then at last, the axis has to be represented. Even though we are going to represent the axis, it is not going to be shown here. Now this completes the second stage, top view, when the axis is inclined to HP at 40 degree. Now, the third stage says that the edge which is the resting edge which is on the resting is inclined to VP at an angle of 30 degree. Now, what is a resting edge? The line DC is supposed to be inclined to VP at 30 degrees, since it is not got the apparent length, it is the true length only. So we have to draw the true angle. Now, the true angle is given as 30 degree. Now let me construct the 30 degree constructional line. Now keep a protractor anywhere on this XY line, and from there you are supposed to draw a 30 degree line like this. Now, since if you are going to start with the XY line, you may end up with some complications like the pyramid may go above the XY line or may crosses the booklet. Henceforth, let me draw a constructional line just below the XY line like this. Say for example, 1 or 2 boxes like this. Now from this point, I'm going to measure the 30 degree line. Now I'm going to measure 30 degree as the axis inclination. And once I have got this axis inclination, then this axis, no, sorry, not the axis inclination, the resting base edge inclination as 30 degree. Then what we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to transfer the points D and C over there. Now for which, now using your pencil, now let me keep a point anywhere on this 30 degree line. Say for example, I'm going to keep it over here. Now that point I'm going to mark it as D. Now to get the position of C, use your compass and then measure the distance between D and C. Use your compass, measure the distance between D and C, which is obviously 25, no doubt about it. Okay, 25 millimeter. Now keeping the compass at D, without changing the radius, draw a constructional arc over there, and that point we are going to mark it as C. Now, if you are having any sort of doubt, you can locate a point properly on the C to avoid the confusions. Once the DC is mentioned, now using the arc technique, how we have obtained this front view from the first stage front view, in the same fashion, using the second stage top view, we have to obtain the third stage top view. Now let me show you one of the points. Now using the arc, that is using the compass, measure the distance of O to E. Now I'm going to show you one point, and the rest of the points you have to repeat the same procedure. Now with O and E, sorry, not the O and E, we have got the O, C and D. Now let me measure the distance from C to E. Let me measure the distance from C to E. Now with C as the center, okay, without changing the radius, I'm going to draw a constructional arc over here. And then I'm going to measure the same distance E from D now. Now, using the compass, I'm going to measure this value, okay, and then with D as the center, I'm going to take the same radius and I'm going to draw an arc. Now, the intersection, what I'm going to get there is called as the corner E. Now, using your pencil, you can mark it as corner E. In the same fashion, using the same arc technique, let me complete this second stage top view over here with respect to the line DC at an angle of 30 degree as per the condition given in the question. Now you guys can see that using the same arc technique, I have completed all the points and relocated the second stage top view at an angle of 30 degree to the XY line, that is nothing but with respect to VP. Now, to get a front view in this condition, we are supposed to draw the projectors, what we have done for the second stage top view. In the same fashion, we have to do it in the third stage front view, for which let me draw a vertical projector for the apex position first and the horizontal projector from the apex position of the previous stage front view like this. Now the intersection is going to mark it as the apex position O dash. In the same fashion, the base corners has to be obtained. Now let me complete the same and show it to you guys. Okay guys, now you can see that I have completed the paths by drawing the projectors, and I have mentioned the ABCD. And now what I can do is we have to complete the front view. So for which what the rules says that the rules of visibility, boundary lines are always visible. Whatever the rules we have applied it for the second stage top view, the same has to be applied for the front view also. Now using your HB pencils, now let us complete the boundary first. Now with E dash as a starting point, now let us understand whether it is going to be O dash or it is going to be A dash. Now you can see A dash is passing outside, so henceforth A dash is supposed to be the boundary, and then to O dash, and then whether it is B dash or C dash, yes, it is going to be the C dash. So please be careful here while drawing these boundary lines, and then to D dash we have to connect it, okay, and then after D dash we have to connect back to the A dash. So you can see the boundary is completed. Then the second point says that identify whether base is visible or invisible. If it is visible, make it as visible. If it is invisible, make it as invisible. Now, when the object is seen from the front, that is away from the vertical plane, you can see the base is nearer to the observer. I repeat, the base is nearer to the observer when compared to the apex. Hence, the base edges must be visible. And according to the second point, we are supposed to show the base edges as visible. That is A dash to B dash, okay, A dash to B dash, and then B dash to C dash is supposed to be visible, and rest of the edges which forms the boundary, so you need not to worry about it. Now the slant edges has to be drawn. Such of the slant edges either partially or completely passing inside the visible base becomes invisible, and vice versa. So keeping that in the point, now you can see that the slant edges OA and OC are the boundary lines. The remaining edges are OE, OD, and OB. OE, if you are going to observe, partially it is passing through the visible base, hence it must be invisible. In the same fashion, OD is also partially passing inside the visible base, it must be invisible. But however, O dash, B dash is passing outside the visible base, it must be visible. And at last, using your pencil and scale, make sure that you are supposed to connect the axis line, that is the chain line, in the form of a chain line using your 2H pencils. Now this completes the construction of the given problem or the solution for the given problem in all aspects. Now if you are having any sort of doubts, please feel free to contact me, and my communication details is provided over here. And please do like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel and share this video to all your first year engineering students. And once again, thank you very much for watching these videos in my YouTube channel. Once again, thank you very much, guys.